Hello everybody, welcome to the core content lecture. This one will be focusing on daily profiles. So getting started with profile number one. Profile number one is the London retracement and New York expansion profile. So in this profile, previous higher time frame external liquidity has already been breached in either Asia session or the previous day's afternoon session. London session retraces into a gap, being internal liquidity created the previous day, and you're expecting a continuation and an expansion in tune with the higher time frame narrative in the New York morning session. So entry techniques include order of operations TPD and or sequential SMT with London sessions high or low within the gap, targeting London sessions high or low parallel to the New York expansion. So as you can see here in the diagram, a London session retraces into internal liquidity before the New York session. So what you're doing is, in this example, we're bearish on the higher time frame. So we have a higher time frame point of interest below market price. If a gap had already been created the previous day and external liquidity had already been breached, and we see London session retrace already into that gap, then we're looking for New York to create a cracking correlation inside of the gap, whether it's a TPD or an actual sequential SMT. And then we're looking for price to create an expansion in tune with the higher time frame direction, and we can use London lows as an easy target and leave runners for the higher time frame target, and then be vice versa if we were bullish. In this case, if we were targeting higher and we saw London session retrace down inside of a gap, then we're looking at London's low for sequential SMT, and we're looking at London highs for a target. All right, now profile 2. So profile number 2 is London consolidation, New York retracement. So in this profile, previous higher time frame external liquidity has already been breached in either Asia session or previous day's afternoon session. London session consolidates, but price is still poised to trade into a gap, being internal liquidity created the previous day. You're expecting the New York session to serve as a retracement, delivering contrary to the higher time frame narrative. Entry techniques include order of operations being TPD and or a sequential SMT with London sessions high or low, targeting internal liquidity. So as we can see, looking at the diagram, if London session were to consolidate and we had already taken external liquidity and we're awaiting for price to trade back inside of internal liquidity, in an example like this, if although we were bearish on the higher time frame and our higher time frame narrative was bearish, we still would like to see that gap be returned into, going from external liquidity to internal liquidity on the higher time frame. So if London session consolidates and has yet to tag back inside of that gap, we are using that gap as a target. So when the New York session opens up, we would look for a cracking correlation under London's low and or a TPD right here, or both of them in tune with another, and then we would view this as a retracement contrary to the higher time frame narrative, targeting internal liquidity being the gap. And now for profile 3. So profile 3 is London and New York expansion. So the opening of the daily candle in this profile is already close to a higher time frame point of interest, and many crack in correlations have already been created the previous day, supporting speed and strength in delivery. London session expands with little retracements in tune with the higher time frame narrative, but New York still can retrace into London session's range before running again towards the higher time frame point of interest until it's met. Entry techniques include 1 hour or 15-minute TPDs and or 90-minute or microcycle sequential SMTs with the New York session targeting the higher time frame point of interest. So if the previous day many cracking correlations have formed, telling you that the current day was likely to deliver with speed and strength until price gets to that higher time frame point of interest, and we're already close to it, London session is likely to expand with little retracements, and then New York sometimes is prone to retracing a little bit inside of London's range, and then forming a lower time frame cracking correlation or a lower time frame TPD that's quicker to continue to run higher to that higher time frame point of interest. And now for profile number 4. So profile number 4 is the daily consolidation. So the day either after a large range day or the day before a large news driver is typically when you see daily consolidations where the entire day is just very lackluster and consolidative. Another reason why a day might be consolidative is due to the fact that price is near equilibrium of a range. So if you go back and look in your charts, typically whenever price is within a range or at equilibrium of a range, it tends to just be consolidative until volatility is injected into the marketplace that allows it to break out of that consolidation and avoid trading these conditions. So it's best to stay out of these conditions even if you're a scalper, just due to the fact that precision elements tend to be thrown off and things tend to not make a lot of sense, and it's better just to wait for higher probability conditions. So hopefully y'all found this one insightful. I'll speak with y'all again soon. Good luck and good trading.